On October 10, 1954, the Vietnamese People's Army took over Hanoi, marking a turning point in the history of modern Vietnam. On January 11, 1956, the government launched an economic recovery program for the period 1956-1957. This program sought to restore and stabilize the North Vietnamese economy, badly damaged after the 9-year Indochina War. It called for the restoration, expansion, and constructions of 46 major industrial facilities in the north only in 1956. Among them was the new Thượng Đình Special Industrial Zone, an area which would come to be known as Cao-Xà-Lá. On rice paddies, which had until then been farmed by the village of Khương Trung, Thượng Đình, and Hạ Đình. The new industrial zone was built in a suburban area to the southwest of Hanoi, along the Hanoi-Hà Đông Road. After 1955, two of North Vietnam's most important public works were built nearby, the National University and the Hanoi Mechanical Factories. While the Hanoi Mechanical Factories produced basic means of production such as milling machines, lathes, and drilling machines, the three new factories would mass-produce consumption goods. The Gold Star Rubber Factories was to produce rubber tiles, raincoat. The Hanoi Soap Factories was to produce soap, toothpaste, and the Thăng Long Tobacco Factories was to produce cigarettes. The products manufactured in the Cao-Xà-Lá Zone did not simply aim to meet the material needs of Vietnamese people. They also sought to foster the adoption of a modern and civilized lifestyle fit for a young, post-colonial, and independent nation. Starting with rubbers, French colonists established the first rubber plantations in Cochin China at the end of the 19th century. The Vietnamese name Cao-Su speaks for its origin, caoutchouc in French. Previously unknown to Vietnam, rubbers became an essential material during the 20th century. Amongst hundreds of rubber goods, one contributed to the rapid movement of Vietnamese society: tires. From rickshaws to bicycles to cars, the rubber wheels introduced by Europeans revolutionized the way Vietnamese people move. Rubbers also became a strategic material for the military. The image of conscripts pushing bicycles is closely associated with the Điện Biên Phủ victories in 1954. Without a rubber factories, we could say that northern Vietnam's then newly independent people and economy would have stopped shifting. By 1954, Hanoi's main rubber transformation facility was a workshop. Operated by the French army on Lê Thánh Tông Street, could not meet the ambitions of the newly independent government for the national economy of northern Vietnam. Building a large-scale rubber factories became a priority. Prime Minister Phạm Văn Đồng stated, each compatriot should at least be provided with a hat to wear and a pair of bicycle tires to support their legs. Surely, not everyone could afford a bicycle back then, but there was a necessity that nearly everyone used every day: soap and toothpaste. Like rubbers, soap first appeared in Vietnam during the colonial period. Once again, the name of these foreign commodities carries its origin: savon in French and sabon or safong in Vietnamese. While the villagers traditionally rinsed their mouth with teeth in the morning, brushed their blackened teeth by rubbing them with dry areca pods, and bathed with fragrant leaves. Using soap and toothpaste to keep one's teeth white symbolized a civilized urban life. The use of soap soon took another symbolic role. It became an expression of modern Vietnamese patriotism. Nationalist movements in Vietnam emphasized the importance of corporal hygiene and physical activities before 1954. In 1946, President Ho Chi Minh launched the Patriotic Hygiene Movement. The message was clear: one weak citizen means the whole nation is weak. One healthy citizen means the whole nation is healthy. As such, the Hanoi soap factories produce more than a daily necessity. Its manufactures are symbolic goods integral to the modern Vietnamese citizen's spirit and the responsibility toward the new nation. Last but not least, Thăng Long tobacco factories. Unlike the two above products, tobacco has a long history in Vietnam. In his encyclopedic treatise, Vân Đài Loại Ngữ, published in the third year of Vĩnh Thọ era, 1773, Lê Quý Đôn wrote, "Since the Lao people brought this tree in 1660, our people began to plant it. Mandarins, people, women, and girls raised to smoke so much so that some people say they can stand not eating for 3 days but can't go without smoking for a short while. The water pipes that are used to smoke tobacco became so ingrained in Vietnamese culture that they can still be found everywhere. Cigarettes, however, appears later, were also brought along by French colonization process. They became one of the symbols of a new generation of Vietnamese urbanity, projecting a youthful, westernized, stylish, and trendy image. During the colonial era, the strong demand for cigarettes fostered the establishment of many private tobacco manufacturers. Therefore, after independence, the new communist government rapidly established its own state-owned tobacco factories. The new factories' production did not only serve for domestic consumption, but also for exporting to other socialist countries. The cigarette produced by Thăng Long tobacco factories was also exported to the south of Vietnam as a means to promote Northern Vietnam image after the country division. While manufacturing very different products, the three factories in Cao-Xà-Lá Zone had one thing in common: the construction, the provision of their first machines, and the training of their workers all benefit from Chinese aid and expertise. It was the Chinese experts who recommend placing the rubber factories next to the soap factories, since both had chemical production chains. The two factories were built next to the tobacco factories to limit encroachments on agricultural land. Deciding where to locate new factories was a complicated economic issue in the post-war context. The Thượng Đình areas was finally chosen because its pre-existing infrastructures met with new government requirements. Deputy Prime Minister Lê Thanh Nghị inaugurated the construction of Cao-Xà-Lá Industrial Zone on December 22, 1958. Thousands of workers from areas surrounding Hanoi participated in construction process, digging and embanking rice field, loading, carting, and unloading vast amount of mud to make ways for the new factories. The construction of Cao-Xà-Lá Industrial Zone was a major political and social event in the North. It conveyed the bold image of a nascent socialist nation. President Ho Chi Minh visited this area 3 times, bringing along international partners in some cases. Over time, the area came to include several other factories, turning it into one of Hanoi's largest industrial zones. The scale of the Thượng Đình Industrial Zone and its symbolic role made it a target during the war.
Đồng bào chú ý, máy bay địch cách Hà Nội 50 km.
This area was bombed several times by the US Air Force. Yet the Cao-Xà-Lá factories not only survived, but became deeply rooted in this area, both literally and figuratively. Not long ago, one could still feel the flavor of the products they manufactured when passing by. The smell of raw rubbers, the fragrance of soap, and the aroma of tobacco. This socialist industrial zone, however, halted its operations in 2020. Vietnamese people's dream of a happy life shapes in new aspect. A forest of high-rise apartments for the urban citizenry, just like many other urban centers in the region. This new urbanscape looks rather clean and lacks the distinctive flavor of its predecessor.